video, I was able to explain to us that the your objective, specific objective that you have a way of influencing the method that they will use, right? If the specific objective is maybe evaluating or investigating a concept or combining two concepts together, that determines whether you are going to fall in the space of descriptive statistics or differential statistics. And differential statistics are many, types of regressions are also many, right? More importantly, in trying to determine your method of analysis for your research, the suitable method of analysis for your research, beyond your specific objective, is the variable measurement. And so in this video, I will be explaining to us how your measurement of variable has a way of influencing your method of analysis. And this is one area that so many people are making errors on, because, especially in survey research, so many people are making errors on because they don't understand that the way you measure a variable is so critical, and that has a way of influencing the method of analysis. My name is Professor Bright Rea. I currently teach at the Pan Atlantic University. I teach macroeconomics and then applied econometrics for both undergraduate, masters, and PhD. I also teach quantitative research method and advanced research method for PhD student and DBA student at the Lagos Business School. So I'll be sharing some of my thoughts, some of my experiences, and I'll be making a lot of clarification on a number of my videos. My videos are to complement what supervisors are doing across economics, finance, and business management on ensuring that students have the proper foundation for their research, right? So that they're able to seamlessly progress. So I'll be doing a number of videos that I'll be posting on my Facebook page called Edunomics NG. Edunomics NG does not have a U. It's just Edunomics, and then on the YouTube page Edunomics, which is the one that now has a U, right? So these videos are important, and I'll be sharing some of these videos for just trying to clarify a lot of issues, because in my experience beyond teaching, I've done external examination for both masters and PhD students across different departments, both finance, economics, and management, even within and outside of the country. And I see some of these errors, and I just want to make clarification on a number of these issues. So my presentations or my videos are more of clarification, so that people can understand some of these nitty-gritties, right? So that is the purpose of my videos. So let me start by saying that. So go ahead, follow us on this page, subscribe to this page, and also share to your students, share to your friends, so that they can learn on a number of these clarifications, so that they can seamlessly do their work. Okay, so let me start by saying that, as a background, you have a research topic. The research topics has a number of concepts that are in it, right? So every research topic or title has concept, right? Which is the first point of where to start from. The concept in your topic, right? But from your concept, you need to think through to be able to, understand and be able to select or think through what are the indicators of this concept, which is the first thing to think through when you are doing your research. So your title has concept, but you need to move from concept to what are the indicators of this concept that I have in my title. And then from your indicators, you move to variables that will be used to be able to represent those concepts, which is the third step in research, right? And then especially in trying to understand the method of analysis, right? And then the fourth thing to do is that each of these variables, how are they going to be measured? The measurement of the variable is so critical and important to know whether the method you are using is right or wrong. And that is why you need to align your measurement to the selection of the variables that you have. I've had cases where students go to the field, come back, and then, in fact, I've come across a PhD student that have gone to the field, came back, and then he was already doing post-field. And the method he mentioned was not right for the kind of measurement scale for his variables. The way he has selected or the way he has measured his variables cannot go for that method of analysis. And it was like, how do I need to go back to the field or something? So these are issues that students face. So you need to understand that your title start as concept, but beyond concept, you need to move to understand and be able to select indicators for those concepts, and then move to variables that will be able to represent this concept, and then and understand how each of these variables is measured, so that will give you a background of whether this method I want to pick is right or wrong. Okay. So let me give an example. For instance, somebody is looking at the effect of HRO management practice on millennial work attitude. That is the topic of somebody. If you look at this topic, there are two concepts. My presentation here or video here is not to tell you which one is dependent variable, independent variable. I'm going to do a lot of clarification. Those are minor issues, right? So HRO management practices is one of the concepts in the title. The second concept in the title is work attitude. These are two concepts in the title. So millennials is just the focus of the study, millennials, right? So there are two concepts here, right? So the first concept is HRO management practices. And then what are the indicators of HRO management practice? If you look at the literature very well, literature will tell you several of these indicators, there are many, right? And your selection of the one you want to use is a function of the gap you want to fill, or how important the one you want to use are to the area that you are making the study on, whether the company or the industry or whatever it is. But let me say we are light just four of them: training and development, supervisory support, job security, and then work-life balance. These are just four indicators of HRO management practices, right? The second concept is what we call work attitude. And work attitude, can mean the commitment, which is one way indicator of work attitude. The second one is job satisfaction, right? How satisfied are the staff, can also be an indicator of their work attitude, right? These are two concepts in this topic, right? So you need to understand that there are concepts, but you need to now begin to, you can be guided by literature or guided by your understanding and be able to select the indicators. So let me just present this table that is a simple way of, clarifying this issue I'm talking about. So for instance, somebody has a concept in his title called rich, right? Being rich is something that means different things to different people, right? So if you tell me that somebody is rich, if you come to me for your presentation, I might not accept what you are saying. And that's why you need to operationalize your concept to say this is actually what you mean by being rich, because being rich means several things to several people. It is conceptual, it is generalized, it has several meanings. Therefore, you need to operationalize to say this is actually what you mean. And that is why you need to now take a step further from concept to be able to determine the indicators for that concept. So for instance, indicators for rich can be income or asset, right? And then the variables to measure the concept are income per month. For instance, if somebody is in Lagos and is receiving 100,000, it might be a poor person. It might not be a rich person. But if somebody is living somewhere in Osun or Ilesha, like where my friend Dr. Folabolo Okere is from, right? Where the house rent is how many thousand, and with 50,000 you can even rent a 3-bedroom flat, right? In that kind of environment, 100,000 salary can be being classified as a rich man among his peers in that community, right? So income per month in Lagos, you will know that even 300,000 to 500,000 might not be classified as somebody that is rich, right? So the second indicator for being rich is majorly asset. So like I said, you move from concept, able to determine what is the indicator for that concept, and then what variable do you use? Total value of asset. When you say Dangote is rich, they are using his asset. It's not necessarily his profit, it's the asset they are using, right? An asset is asset. Those are the things they are using. So total value of asset. The other one is higher academic performance. When you say somebody has higher academic performance, right, the indicators are average mark in examination or average mark in CA, right? And those are indicators that you can determine to be able to capture higher academic performance, right? So how do you now get a variable for it? Percentage of marks in the exam or percentage of marks in CA. Okay, those are variables. For instance, somebody says is having a concept called firm performance in his title. Now, firm performance means different things. Sometimes it means it can be productivity and it can be profitability, because how productive a firm is can be seen as its performance, and also how profitable a firm is can be seen as its performance. Most time I see people do firm performance from the perspective of profitability than productivity, right? So that's why you need to move from concept to operationalizing your concept, determine your indicator, and then the variable that you want to use to capture it based on your research gap. And this is critical, very, very, very critical. In fact, determining the measurement or the variable is a function of also the gap and how useful that variable or that indicators is, because maybe that variable is so important to that sector and less attention has been given to it. Can be a research gap for you, right? So from profitability, some of the common way of measuring performance, fair performance on profitability is return on asset, return on equity, net income margin, net income, yeah, so net income margin, and then profit after tax. Those are the about three ways, and then we also have what you call the Tobin skill method, which are profitability measures of performance. But there's also productivity measures of performance for firm, which most studies don't look into, and that has to do with efficiency. That's why you see people doing what we call the data envelope analysis, or what we call the production frontier method, right? Or what we call the solo residual for profitability, I mean for efficiency or for productivity. These are ways for where in which you can measure or you can capture your concept, especially in the area of performance, right? So when I see people make presentation in area of fair performance, first question I want to know is that, is it for profitability, is it productivity, and then from productivity, which are the indicators, then what are the variables that you definitely want to use to capture that. Okay, so that takes me to talking about, because the way when you determine your variable, you also need to determine how the variable is measured. The measurement for each variable is important for me to know whether the choice of the method you have used is important, beyond the fact that your specific objective, whether you are evaluating or you are investigating a concept or you are combining two concepts together, is also critical for this choice of the method. But we now want to take a step further to look at how do you measure the variable. What is the measurement that you have used? And that is so important. And when we talk about variables, and don't forget that variables is one way to capture, a concept, because the concept means different things to different people, right? So variables are classified under two broad categories: by causation and by unit of measurement, right? The focus of this video is on the unit of measurement, which is one important aspect of determining your method of analysis for your research. So I'll talk on unit of measurement for this video, right? Now, the measurement scale or unit of measurement is considered a major determinant of selecting the suitable method of analysis, and that is so important. And there are about 4 measurement scales, and the choice of your measurement scale for your variable is a major thing to consider when you select a method of analysis for your research. Very, very, very important. There are about 4 of them. Fortunately, these 4 are categorized under 2 broad categories, under 2 broad areas, right? They are either categorized under categorical or under continuous. So for whatever data you are using for your analysis, the data or the variables you are using and the data that you are using to capture those variables, right? In terms of quantitative analysis, those data either fall under categorical or fall under continuous. Right, and there are about 4 of these measurement scales that are common in any textbook that you see. Number 1 of them is nominal measurement scale. In nominal measurement scale, the interest is about, for instance, something like gender, male or female, or yes or no kind of measurement, right? Number of political parties, number of religion, which is Islamic, Christianity, and traditional. These are issues about nominal issues, but there is also ordinal measurement or ranking, right, which is focusing more on maybe you're measuring income by above average, below average, or average, right. You are looking at people economic status in the area of upper, middle, and low. These are different measurement scale that we have, right? These are different measurement scale that we have. So I mean, these are different way of looking at economic status. So you classify people of above, middle, low. Those kind of things are ordinal. They are ordinal processes, or we call them ranking. You are ranking, right? So when you are doing that, that's an ordinal method. That one is interval, right? Interval, and then the last one is what you call ratio, right? What you call ratio, right? So these are the 4 measurement scale. Now, what my major interest is to see how these things inform in your selection of method of analysis, right? So categorical is 2 of them, nominal or ordinal, and then continual is also 2, interval or ratio. That's how they are classified, and so each of them has a way of informing how you select your method of analysis. So let me give you a simple table. What is the simplest table to explain what I'm saying? Maybe your question in your research is to understand if student performance is affected by gender. If that is your topic, Is student performance affected by gender? Now, so I'll just to do this study, maybe I take about 6 students, number of students that I just interviewed or I follow up are 6 students, 1 to 6, right? And then gender is male or female. So student 1 is male, that is 1. Student 2 is also male, 1. Student 3 is 0. And then student 4 is 1. Student 5 is 0. Student 6 is 0, which is female, right? You can also say female 1, gender, male 2, or male 2, female 1. It does not matter. It just the idea is that it's a gender, and whatever code you use, it will still show that it is a categorical and a nominal variable, right? Now, performance score. The other variable is performance. Now, what I did was to look at percentage of score in CA. So I do a CA for these 6 students and I mark them, and the CA total mark is 10 marks. So I say somebody scores 6, student 1 scores 6, student 2 scores 3, student 3 scores 7, 4, 5, and 2, up to the last student. This is performance. Performance is, in this way, performance is a continuous variable, while gender is a categorical variable, right? Or gender is a nominal variable. Performance is continuous. So if I'm going to do an analysis between gender and performance, as the researcher, I must know which method is suitable for this kind of data representation, right? So if I combine categorical variable is continuous, what method will I use? It's different from when I combine categorical variable against categorical variable. So that's why I give another example. For instance, I'm not interested in using a continuous variable for my performance score. I want to convert my performance score to also be a categorical variable. It does not matter. Whatever way you do, the result will almost be the same thing. So it's not an issue. So for somebody who's doing a survey and he said his own is not to do it by using continuous variable, I still want to use a categorical variable. So all I need to do is so anybody that score 5 and above, pass. Anybody that score below 5 is fail. Pass is 1, fail is 0, or pass is 1, fail is 2. Any way you can just software will understand. So let's say for student 1, he scores 6. That means that is 1, he passed. Student 2 scored 3, 0, because he failed. Student 3, 7 is pass because it's 5 and above. Student 4 is fail. Student 5 score 5, that is 1, pass. And then student 2, that is 0. So I decide to crash or delete this middle one, which is performance score by continuous. And I make use of gender, which is categorical, against another performance score, which is also categorical coding. If I do that, I am combining 2 categorical variables together to look at their relationship or the effect or association. If I do this, then I'm doing relationship between 2 variables that are measured in categorical form. The method I will use differ as against the method I will use when I combine a categorical with a continuous variable. That's what I'm saying, right? So this table now summarizes what I'm saying. Now, if you look at the top side of this table, you will see what I call scale by Y variable. Y variable here means dependent variable. And then by this side, you have what we call X variable. X variable there stands for independent variable in your topic, right? Dependent is here, independent is here. So let's say if my dependent variable is categorical, and my explanatory variable is also categorical, like the previous example, gender against the categorical measurement of performance, right? Categorical against categorical. And I want to look at relationship between that. I am in the arena of chi-square. I'm in arena of chi-square. Basically because those variables are even in nominal form. And even those categorical variables are in ordinal. I'm in the arena of Spearman correlation because it's ordered, right? It's an ordered form. I'm in the arena of Spearman correlation, right? So categorical against categorical, this is what you use. But if my dependent variable is continuous and my explanatory variable is categorical, I mean this number 2. This is 1, this is number 2. I mean this arena number 2. It means that my dependent variable is continuous and my explanatory variable is categorical. I will either use t-test or I will use ANOVA. Now, what is different between the t-test and ANOVA? When my dependent variable is continuous, measured in continuous, or my explanatory variable is measured in categorical. The difference between the two of them is that the t-test is useful when you have 2 categories for your categorical variable. 2 categories. An example is gender. It's gender influenced by performance. Gender is male or female. It has 2 categories, male or female. But if my interest is is performance influenced by gender, right? So if my interest is, if it's more than two category, in the case of political parties that are more than two, or in the case of religion, whether religion is explains performance, right? Whether religion explain performance or something like that, then I have two categories I have more than two categories, because Christianity, Islam, and then traditional religion, right? Three of them. So when I have more than two categories, I'm going to use ANOVA. I'm in the arena of ANOVA, not t-tests. Okay. But there are different types of t-tests. With time, I will begin to talk about all of them and why they are used, right? Now I come to the 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 number three that we have here. Number three here is that when your dependent variable is categorical, right? But your explanatory variable is continuous, you are going to use logistic regression or probit regression, right? When your dependent variable is categorical and your explanatory variable is continuous, you are in this number three, which is regression analysis. But this type of regression analysis is logistic regression or probit regression. The difference between the two of them is that one is based on normal distribution, the other one is based on cumulative distribution. Okay. However, when your categorical variable, which is dependent variable, is more than two category, right? Like the case of gender, which is male or female, yes or no, right? Which is two category. If you have more than two category, you are going to do multinomial regression, multinomial logistic regression, or multinomial probit regression. That is different between the normal logistic and the probit one, right? Then in the arena 4 is where you have your dependent variable to be continuous, and then your explanatory variable is also continuous. This is where we have most economic student or finance student will fall in, right? Who are not doing relay survey. Even when you survey, your variable can turn to continuous, don't forget. So if you are in this arena, that is where you are using product movement correlation or regression. And there are different types of correlation, there are different types of regression. Static to dynamic to panel to all forms of regression, right? Fall under this space. So when your dependent variable is continuous, your explanatory variable is also continuous, you are going to use correlation, which is a product movement correlation, or regression, the normal regression that we do, which is the OLS to the two-steady least square to fully modified OLS to dynamic OLS to error correction model, to auto-regressive distributed lag models, all of this area, because those two variables are continuous, dependent on explanatory variables are continuous, right? That does not mean that you're not going to have other categorical variable as part of explanatory variables in your model, right? But the idea is that when your dependent variable is continuous, right, and then explanatory variables are continuous, and then you can have some demo variables also in between, right? In that way, you fall under this level, right? So this is what determines where how you select your method of analysis, especially for those who are doing survey. For those who are doing secondary data, for instance, we all fall into regression and correlation, and we might not know why, because you are bringing GDP, for instance, or real growth, economic growth, against inflation. The two of them are continuous variable. That is the reason. That's the basic reason. So please, I think I'm sure that this video has been able to explain and clarify some issues and provide some guides for us with regards to your choice of method as explained by the measurement scale, moving from concept to indicator to variable to measurement, right? Which are critical steps that you must think through. And then even when you are designing your survey, you must be able to have it at the back of your mind, what kind of measurement is behind your survey data when you later code them, what kind of measurement will they produce, and that will also guide the method of analysis that you're definitely going to select at the end. Because when you have your proposal and you say you are using this method and somebody look at your objective, it does not align with your method of analysis, or the measurement scale by your design of the variable by their measurement does not even align with your method. So these are issues that we can clarify. You can reach out to me more if you want to have one-on-one section. It's not teaching, is one-on-one section to clarify issues around your project, your thesis, your dissertation, right? Whether undergraduate, masters, or PhD. The idea is to clarify a lot of things for students who are struggling with their research work or research project or masters or PhD thesis in the area of economics, finance, and management. And then we can then begin to explain to them and guide them through. The idea is not to take the job of a supervisor, like I always say, is to complement the job of the supervisor, and is to guide you through. Sometimes help you to think through the issue, the problem statement and the issue first and foremost, so that you're able to think it through and understand it very well before you even proceed into it, and understand the literature that you are dealing with, and then be able to guide you through on suitable process that you can have seamlessly, so to have that study completed. And that is our aim, to ensure that seamlessly, without delay, you can complete your work, in record time. So thank you so much for watching this video. Please like, share on the YouTube and on the Facebook page, and then share to people that can also be able to benefit from this. And as many friends you have who think that they need to speak to Professor Bright Area and his friend Dr. Folabolo Okere, please, we are all available. We have decided to give back, and this service is for free of charge. So share our videos, like them, comment, and then your comment will also begin to engender other areas that we need to begin to provide solution for. I want a situation where these two platforms provide a place for different comments and different engagement, where we begin to clarify issues even on online, just on online purpose, where people ask questions and we begin to answer them on the online platform, so that others can also learn. Thank you so much once again.